Hello and welcome to Hybrid, powered by chinkseyMEDIA. We're back again for every word from Mikel Arteta's post-Chelsea presser. We had to settle for a share of the spoils at Stamford Bridge yesterday after we played out a 1-1 draw with Chelsea. Mikel Arteta addressed the media following the final whistle, discussing the result, performance and latest on the fitness of our squad, including that of William Saliba, who was a late admission after picking up a knock in training. On whether we should have won 3 points. First of all, I think it was a proper London derby. It was very tense. And you could sense that from the beginning, that every duel, every action has something on it. First of all, I think it was a proper London derby. It was really tense, and you could sense that from the beginning, that every duel, every action has something on it. Two teams very willing to win and not much football. A lot of stops, free kicks, yellow cards, so not a lot of fluidity. But obviously, after the sending off of Moises Caicedo, we wanted to settle the game. We didn't manage to do that. We had 4 more yellow cards, and those players were obviously targeted in order to even the game in terms of numbers. And at half-time, we said, let's push it now. Get what we have to do. And we were very clear on our intention and how we were going to dominate the game in the first action. Long ball, free kick, corner, and we concede from a set piece. So then the momentum shifted, and ultimately the team have to react to that. We managed to get some good spells without having too much momentum, and we score a great goal. And after that, we had 2 or 3 big chances, but lacked certain detail, especially in the manner we attacked, and especially in certain positions. Robert Sanchez had the ball in his hands. Whoa, I've been doing Mikel Arteta's podcast for the whole season virtually, I think bar one game, which was probably the Man United game. So I've been doing about 30 or so press conference analyses, and I tell you that that's the most convoluted, long-winded paragraph that I have ever read. That is a long way of answering if we should have won the 3 points. And I'll answer it for you guys. I'll interpret it for you guys, which is what I do in these podcasts. The answer is no. Yesterday, Chelsea were the better team, for whatever reason that is, whether they were the home side, whether it was the 3rd or 3 grueling fixtures, whether the fact that we just couldn't really get into our groove. Probably a bit of everything. But Chelsea were the better side. But them playing out of their skin wasn't enough to beat an Arsenal side who were off colour yesterday. And that tells you a lot about how good we are, how difficult we are, how difficult a side we are to beat. So, in short, Arsenal shouldn't have had 3 points, but I think we was good value for a draw. However, last season, we went to Stamford Bridge and were the better side, but it was a draw then. So, people need not forget that. On players at the back, learning from the match. It's been a big week, starting with the derby, with how emotional and the intention we had to win it. Then to play Bayern Munich 3 days later, we lost players in those games, and today, for example, we had to play a partnership we hadn't played before in a really difficult match. The captain is still not here. The number 9 is still not here. Kai Havertz is still not here. And we lost Leo Trossard in midweek as well. But the team had to react to that. And overall, it's been a really positive week because the difficulty has been immense. But I have this flavour that today we should have won the game, and we haven't. That's a learning point for me. Oh, okay, so he's answered it here. He said we should have won the game. What does he mean by that? Does he mean we should have won the game as in the fact that we're better than Chelsea and or we played against 10 men for the vast majority of the game, but not necessarily how the game played out? Because if it means that, then I agree. If it means that based on the game state, he believes we should have won the game, I'm going to have to disagree with that one. But I do think, like I already said, it's a solid point. We tick off Stamford Bridge from our list of venues to visit. So now we've gone to Anfield, Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge, and we don't have to go there in the second part of the season. So for me, it's a good, valuable point. But now going forward, we need to go on another run and start getting the points, 3 points, back in the bag. On whether a tiring week took its toll. We played every 2.5 days, so we had one less day than Chelsea to prepare. And on top of that, we lost players. But this is the schedule. Now we're going to have to play Wednesday, for sure. It drives you on. And there was a lot at stake, and we had 2 very intense matches. But that's the beauty of it as well. Not many teams have the opportunity to play the games that we have played this week, and I am extremely proud of the team. Well, Chelsea have had a similar kind of schedule, although you could argue, if you want to include the Tottenham game, then I see where Arteta's coming from. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, you know, both top sides. Chelsea swatted away Bayern Munich with consummate ease. Chelsea swatted away Barcelona with consummate ease a day earlier than we swatted away Bayern Munich. So both teams had tough games. However, prior to Barcelona, Chelsea were able to rest Moises Caicedo and a few players in a game against Burnley, who were never really going to trouble them. And they won that comfortably, 3-0, I believe. On taking positives from a good away point, that's the feeling that we have and the standards that we set to ourselves. Probably it's because of the spirit, the hunger, and how much they want it, that it's so incredible, will overcome everything. So many things have happened, but we have to prepare very well for Wednesday and try to be better than Brentford. Yeah, I mean, Brentford's definitely a must-win. Manchester City play before we do tomorrow against Fulham. Although, all things encompassing, I do think their game at Craven Cottage is tougher than our home game against Brentford. But that being said, I do expect Manchester City to win that game. So if that is the case, they'll go 2 points behind us, although we'll have a game in hand against a Brentford side who Keith Andrews have got playing really well, and their centre forward Igor Thiago is a real brute, and he's been causing problems all season. Ask Liverpool. On the impact of losing both Saliba and Gabriel, it's been a headache because we've had to have a lot of options and changes over the last few months for different reasons. That one is very unexpected, and it happened yesterday. But the beauty of it is that you have players so willing to play, so willing to connect with each other, and it makes their relationship even better. So it was a great match for all of us, and it gives you the reassurance that whoever is there is going to perform. Yeah, obviously, when I saw Saliba go down, I was a bit shocked, but knowing that Christian Mosquera was going to come in to partner Piero Hincapié, I was resting assured that he would come in and not put a foot wrong, and he had a good game. So long may it continue. If Saliba is not ready for Brentford, I have full trust in Mosquera to do what he needs to do. On how squad depth was tested at Stamford Bridge. To be fair, our depth has been tested since pre-season because we lost 6 or 7 players constantly out of the squad. But I have no doubts with the squad we have and the mentality every player has. So yeah, I mean, this famous squad depth that everyone's been talking about all season, well, now is the time for us to show it. Obviously, there's games every 3 days, literally going into the new year. So there's going to be opportunities for every player, although it seemingly on the periphery of the team and of things and of proceedings, Ethan Nwaneri doesn't seem to be getting a look in. Hopefully, things can improve for him in the coming weeks where he can get some game time and try and squeeze his way into the squad, because now that Gabby Jesus, Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres are all in the reckoning for attacking berth start, it's going to get even harder for the youngster to get into the starting lineup, let alone squad, or other way around. On the conditions of Saliba and Gabriel, I don't know. I think Willow has another test tomorrow to see the extent of that feeling, that sensation that he had. Then we'll know more. With Gabby, there are still some weeks to go. Okay, so that gives me the impression, now we're in December, that at best it will be the end of the year, if not early January, as we thought. But with Saliba, well, you know that Arteta does this all the time. There's another training session, blah, blah, blah. The training session after the press conference, so you won't know, he won't be able to tell you. And I agree with that. We don't want the opponent to know whether Saliba will be fit.